absolutely wild. It really had everything that makes a game of hockey so great. But it also had plenty of something I am tired of seeing. See, the Rangers had 3 fantastic hits in this one. Trouba on Dubé, then Blaze on Lucic, and to cap it off, Trouba again, this time on Kadri, in one of the biggest hits you'll ever see. And what did all 3 have in common? They immediately led to fighting. Let's take a closer look though. After goals from Hedel and Coleman in the first, they were tied at 1. And then Trouba laid a strong hit on Dubé, and he was just an absolute one-man wrecking crew out there today. Dubé pops right back up, and yet Trouba immediately gets jumped, and this clean hit leads to a fight. Now with that said, the refs made the right call, and the Flames got an extra roughing penalty for it, which is good. Then, just a few minutes later, and the same thing. Sammy Blais puts a good strong hit on Lucic, the Flames think it was high, and a full-out brawl breaks out that unfortunately I can't show, but again, the refs review the hit, and again, it was clean, so the Flames get the extra penalty for roughing. But there was still more to come. In the second now, both teams traded goals again as Hedel was able to score his second of the night, and then on the power play, Anderson leaves it for Toffoli, and he rips one post and in to square it back up again. Then right as we're nearing the end of the second, Kadri trying to cut across gets absolutely obliterated, and a huge hit, helmet goes flying, and guess what? Yep, again, a completely clean hit. Again, Kadri pops right back up, and again, Trouba gets immediately jumped. 3 times in one game with all 3 being clean hits within the confines of the NHL rulebook. Hitting, which we have to remember is allowed in hockey. It's just another hockey play. You get up like the players did in each of these 3 hits and you keep playing. Now obviously no one wants to get hit like this, but it doesn't mean you just fight the guy. No one wants to get scored on either. Should you just jump a dude every time they score on you too? Now don't get me wrong, I totally get why it happens, especially on this last one. It's a clean hit, but it's such a fast game and there's a fine line between clean and dirty, so there's almost impossible to judge as a player in real time. But what it really comes down to is standing up for your guys, solidifying your locker room and all that. I get it. Nothing is worse than a player laying on the ice as the team stands around and no one defends them. So there are times that I get it. But again, it's totally legal, and in most cases what I'd rather see is that if you're upset about it, go and do the same thing to them. Hit them back even harder, or better yet, get them back by scoring a goal. So yeah, I just thought this game was a prime example of how this has gotten a bit out of hand. It's a bit much that every single time there's a solid hit, the game has to be derailed for a fight. With that said, what I love to see was that once again, the refs made the right call here, as Dubé gets called for instigating, and we often don't see this enough, but in this game, it was done pretty well. That power play then led to Zibanejad scoring late in the period to take the lead 3-2 on a great little backhanded feed from Kreider. Then into the third, after not getting a shot all period, the Flames get in the Rangers' end, Hanifin over to Mangiapane, and he scores, but immediately Halak is calling for it to be waived. And yeah, after the review, I thought it was pretty clearly a kicking motion as well. You guys let me know what you think, but the review led to it being called as a deflection instead, so this one stood and we were tied up again. The 2 teams then traded goals back and forth, as first Backlund drops it for Stone and he just rips one home, and for the first time in the game, the Flames had the lead. But nearing the later stages of the game, Panarin behind the net gets it to Zibanejad and he scores his second of the game to tie it up once again. And so while this game had plenty of action in regulation, we were still knotted up and we're headed to overtime. Early, Hedel comes so close to capping off the hat trick, but Markstrom is able to shut it down, coming up big. Then on the other end, Halak makes a big stop, and it leads to a Rangers rush. Lafreniere with Zibanejad, one-timer, he stopped, but Lafreniere, he finds the puck, turns around, and scores in a crazy finish to win this game 5-4. The crowd goes wild. Markstrom is pissed, and this one is over. This got to be up for game of the year for sure. This was a thrilling game. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about big hits almost automatically leading to fighting in today's NHL, and just your overall thoughts of this game. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.